That makes sense if my microphone is muted for some reason. This should work a bit better. Yeah. So apparently I missed my package for a new mouse because I'm not home currently. I missed it by like 3 minutes ago. Which, you know, great. Didn't know that I wasn't home, but glad that I'm in the loop now. Anyway, how are you all doing? I was busy. I was quite busy yesterday, but at least I did manage to get out the video to say thank you to everyone. And special thanks to Garrett for subscribing to the Patreon. That's really cool of you. And yeah, it's fine. Like, the mouse still works. And it's nice, but I'm going to go for one of those vertical mice. Mouses? Mice? Is it still mice for a digital mouse? For like a computer mouse? Anyway, I'm going for one of those vertical ones because if I'm going to do much more coding for study and Daybreak, then yeah, ergonomic hand placement is probably a better idea. And this one is just, it's nearing the end of its lifespan. I just feel it every single time I'm trying to draw with paint. I can draw those squiggles and you get those lines with interruptions here and there, and that's just really annoying if you try to drag any screen or window across the computer screen. Oh, you're up to the 4th floor of the ruins. I've been keeping track of the topic on Fire Emblem Universe, but I haven't, as I probably said before, like I haven't downloaded hardly anything regarding other ROM hacks, but like that one is, you do have my attention. I'm really curious as to what you're going to do with every new weapon, like how the weapon types work, with lances and axes being so different compared to regular Fire Emblem. And of course, multiple classes is something I always look forward to, at least until the point where everyone can become anyone. Like 11, Fire Emblem 11, 12, 3 houses. I really do value my unit identity. Anyway, we will go to... I didn't mean to click this one, but it's fine, it's fine. I also have been busy. Ooh, looking forward to it. Final beta. You know how we talked about AI last stream? There's actually something that I was thinking about, like aside from the AI art, kind of the same vein. I really do like the narrator, and if it really is, I'm going to try and not have to use it, because a voice is like a more specifically tied to a person than the art they make. However, if there's like an essential piece of narration that I will need, I might have to look into that as well. Or what I'd love to do is try and get the original narrator to speak some lines, but usually they're not allowed to do that. So I really hope that if I can contact him, that he'd be willing to add some voices to that. Like, that'd be amazing. For the Takumi video, for example, someone actually managed to get into contact with the actual voice actor, and he sent some lines, mostly where it was like talking about the people making it, which wasn't what we intend and in the end went with. But it was really cool that he actually was like, oh, this is really cool that you're doing that for Takumi, and here you go, here's some voice clips. So yeah, I just hope that I'll be able to catch him at some point. He should be in the credits, so it should be possible to get his name. But if there's like no other option and I really do need a very specific piece of narration, then I might just have to bite the bullet on that. I actually came across it with this website, which there was a short, like to go back a few more steps. There was a short I came across where some guy had went to a website and was able to change his voice to all kinds of League of Legends champions, and he went to Yumi. And I just cracked up at the part where he was very cute and wholesome. Like, oh yeah, and then he went into murder, murder, murder. and then the enemy Jin came walking up and he was like, no, 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 fuck that, and just ran and flashed away as the Yumi. And I don't know, that just cracked me up. It was great. Yeah, the Seteth jokes were amazing. Dear Professor, I am stuck in the McDonald's playground with Flame. Please help. As you may have noticed, we have received a steal. We've also received the Demiband, which is actually a touch. Like, all of these, I'm going to... Like, this is part of the code, so I don't want to do this. I might just level down all the Lagoos, because this is level-based, so I don't have to wait for this in future streams and coding sessions. I don't really mind it when I'm coding myself, because I can usually just tab through, but I'm trying to hold back on the tabbing and fast-forwarding a little bit when streaming. Yeah, the Pringus McDingus animation, that one was good. It's just such a... It's just such a weird thing, that those Seteth voice clips. But I love that they exist. Oh, you've got some updates regarding your game concepts? Ah, we've got Skrymir and we're done. First off, I've got just a few new characters on the map. This is one particularly spirit-blessed boy. Aside from like the feral ones with the wild shift and the soldier with burning down the village or the pillaging. Ashra with currently 0 HP because I apparently messed up that class. And for some reason, every time I try to battle Sergei, he just causes a crash, so I've probably done something wrong in his character class or weapons or whatnot. Maybe the skills. You've uploaded a new video on your channel, and you've also been drawing more art of your OCs. Ooh, curious what you've got going on in that case. Like, I'm not familiar with Unveil. As I said previously, I am not one for drawing. But if you've got, like, stories and characters, and when you have a premise... I don't know if you, by any chance, follow the channel, but Hello Future Me has fantastic writing and world-building videos. And, I don't know, one of the biggest things I often see is, and I did this myself, like at one point I was trying to make a Pokemon hack when I was like a wee lad of, I don't know, 14 years old. And I was drawing a map. I may even still have that like game map somewhere. But it just didn't make sense from a world building perspective, like literal world building. The geography was all out of... it was entirely wacky, didn't fit with the anything natural. But yeah, just looking forward to seeing what you've got going on. Currently, like, it sounds like it's still in planning and thinking and just mulling things over. But as soon as you've got, like, I'll definitely check the video out. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'm looking forward to seeing what else you get once you've got more concrete ideas forming. Anyway, to get back to Daybreak for just a moment, I fixed Profiteer, though I haven't fixed the descriptions yet. That's one of the things I dislike the most, so I'm going to probably hold out on that for a little bit. But Profiteer is very similar to what Scavenge does for... Where is he? Where's my good boy? I had a good boy here somewhere. There he is. Scavenge, which unit will search for items on the battlefield and may occasionally find an item at the start of player phase. No, it was for your OCs, I presumed. Like, I don't know, I wasn't sure if the OCs were going to be part of the Fire Emblem fangame concept, but, like, still I'm interested. Yeah. Scavenge, it's very similar to one of the Fate skills, and this one is very easy. It's made after the base conversation where Volug runs back all the way to the Desert of Death and just gets that one blue gem for Micaiah. And I thought, you know what, who else really would be scrounging around for coins? That would probably be Makalov, trying to find like every single little bit of money from somewhere. So I'll be bringing these two to the forefront. But then, of course, you want to know how they work. And what they do is every single turn it does some calculations, which is partially based on experience of the unit, which is why you can also see that Volu currently has 1 XP. It's to keep the bar moving, because if you don't use Volug for a turn and you would have gotten an item on 8 HP, for example, and then you don't use him, the next turn you would have stayed on 8 HP and gotten the item again. So he just increments by 1 XP for 10 turns, and after that it doesn't work anymore. Like, the skill is just for the first 10 turns. But that does mean that it's based on EXP values. So what happens when he's level 40 and he can't gain any more experience? Well, once he's level 40 he gets a different skill. I don't recall what it is off the top of my head, but it is a personal skill that someone else may have. Like, it's not going to be a unique personal skill, but he will get something different once he hits level 40. However, that doesn't really work that easily for Beorc units, because they promote, they go from level 1 to 20, and then they promote, they're level 1 again, so how do you do that? And a level 20 Beorc, like, getting a new skill at that point probably also, like, it's probably not that useful. So what I did is, if Makalov is actually level 20 promoted as like the final tier 3 class, he gets a white gem. He finally gets his money's worth, he finds it on the ground. However, when he's level 10 or higher in his second promotion, he actually gets Steel as a skill, because we know that the Ravens often steal. Like, we have the Path of Radiance chapter where they open the chests and stuff like that. So Nialuchi doesn't really fit for that, but Nesala and Vika may very well be good candidates for that. Not sure if, like, Vika, I'll have to look into her minimal backstory a little bit, see if she was the same as Morim, where he just was subservient the entire time, or if she was a little bit more rebellious. And yeah, I thought, you know what, for the part 2 we also need someone who can steal, and who else fits the bill but Makalov? Like, Makalov is such a perfect fit for getting steal. So that's one of the things that Profiteer does. When he reaches level 10 in tier 2, he gets Steel as a skill. Then aside from that, every few turns, depending on his XP value, he also, or rather from turn 1 to turn 10, also based on his XP value, he's able to find gold. And that's the literal gold, like, which you can see in the lower right hand corner of the window here. It's very small, but that little gold and 0 underneath the map, that's what Makalov can find. So if we go through a couple of turns, like, Alacrity activates and Ranulf transforms. Is this... Oh, it's not going to crash. That's great. I kind of forgot that these two were next to each other, because in my previous build, the Spirit Charmer was also playable. Christ, this is a wet noodle fight. Okay. Come on. Okay, there we go. Here we have the next one. This is Tanith Reinforce. You can call for reinforcements or advance with the current party. This skill is not entirely set up yet, as you will be able to see if I make a save state and I call for reinforcements. Currently it doesn't work entirely as I want to. I kind of messed up the text. And nothing happens. She's also supposed to say something when you don't reinforce. But the bases are being made. So we'll move you out of the way. We still keep focusing on Soth. Light is 2 range. I'm an idiot. Luckily this won't crash the game. But it is going to have a very long... Okay, there we go. It was going to have a very long loading time. But we're going back to Makalov, because that's the point I'm getting at. Like, Tanith was just in the meantime. We'll probably get it either this turn or the following turn as well. Yeah, we can once again call for reinforcements, which has the same, but there's supposed to be 2 different do not summon reinforcements texts, but those apparently got lost somewhere. But now, turn 7 and 8, or turn 8 and 9, we're going to see... We're going to see some coins scatter around Makalov's feet. It's very faint. And I'll try to pause the video or pause the game on the next time that it happens. But, what's this in the dirt? Did someone drop this? Well, if it ain't my lucky day. And it still needs some kind of other effect, maybe. But if we now look at our gold, we actually have 500 gold. So he just found a little bit of gold on the map. And then the following turn... You can just barely see it. Maybe if I... It's my dolphin. There's like 3 tiny sparkles on the left side of his horse, like underneath his cape. And that's like everything that you see. It's the coins from the treasure map in 1-4 that you're able to see. It's very minor, but it does play a little effect, and yeah, obtain 5,000 gold notification would be nice to add. And of course, it is Makalov, so Blast must have lost my pouch whilst... Is it while riding or whilst riding? I think it's actually whilst riding. Better avoid Marcia for a while. And if we take a look now, he's actually lost 50 gold, so this is one of the few personal skills that actually also can be detrimental, but don't worry too much. The values are going to change chapter by chapter, but pretty much it's going to be a net positive if you run into like... You'd have to be very unlucky to run into like the 5 out of 21 negatives, and the negatives are like 50 to 100 gold, whereas the positives can get up to like 1,000. Maybe I'll try and change that a little bit, make it like finding 5,000 gold and losing 1,000, just to make it a little bit more impactful, but generally I want it to be a positive personal skill. I don't want it to feel like something that's detrimental, because then you want to take it away, and you can't, it's locked to Makalov. It's just mostly for flavor that he's also able to lose money, which of course, like, he's very unlucky and he's a slime bag and a scumbag, so it would make sense to be not like that and be more negatively inclined, but I think that's just bad gameplay feel. So currently I'm going to keep it as a major or mostly positive skill experience. And the same thing happens with our boy Volug. Not this turn apparently, but next turn. It should be... yeah. Once again, there's very small sparkles that you can see this way. And Volug actually received a red gem. A moderately valuable gemstone worth 1500 gold. Like, these of course are all set up, and after this, this is turn 10, so afterwards you won't be able to get this effect anymore. So yeah, you might go an entire map not seeing this, but sometimes you'll just randomly find a little bit of loot on the ground with either of these two. Until of course you get level 40, or if you get level 20 promoted. So that's been some of the work I've been doing in the last couple of days. There was one other one, and it is Dunved. Wait a second, you're really close to Gatry. Yoink. And where is Leonardo? Leonardo was also very close. Leonardo is all the way over here, but that's okay. Because Dunfed also has gotten a new skill. I don't know if it's going to be the best fit for him. We can keep the herb. First of all, we are going to warp in and just wait. And now, if we... I'll make save state as well. If I move this way and I have my funky red... warp magic, and I use the Draco shield, you can see that Dunved is still able to warp. And that's really good. That's supposed to happen. Wait, no, he's very close to Lian anyway. So far so good. This is totally normal and intended. Ah, good. Finally, the sun is also letting up. It was raining the entire day here. Never mind. It was raining the entire day here. I turned on the stream and I got glaring sunlight in my eyes, like, immediately. However, if we now try to attack something that we can actually kill... No, it doesn't actually matter, but we do survive. That's the most important part. It's just if he gets into a battle, he loses his Kanto ability. And this, of course, seems like that's weird. Like, why would you want that? But he's one of the few characters who's going to be able to have Kanto whilst not being in a cavalry or thief-related class. Like, it seems very natural for thieves to be able to use Kanto. But as you can see, my I don't get the ability to rewarp or remove anywhere. Do I have any other... Rayson, where's my... Raphael, where's Rayson? There he is, even further away. This is going to be a big shove train. see. 2 more. Because if we now give a nice dance to our friend again, Dunvet was his name, and I will move this way so I can dance for him actually in the second time. I can now use my... and I can heal some HP, and I've got my Kanto back. That's for the wrong person. It doesn't really matter anyway. But what I did is make a variation on Quick Salve. After using an item, unit is able to move again. Going to expand this description a little bit later on. But generally, this unit has Kanto, and if you use an item, if you rescue, shove, if you do anything except fight, you keep your Kanto. But if you go into a battle, you lose your Kanto. But if you get danced, then you do have your Kanto back again. Pretty much what it does is, if you go into battle, you lose your Kanto skill, but once your turn has ended, like once his action has ended, he gets Kanto back. So even if he gets danced, he can do the same thing again the following movement. And with 3 dancers, he could technically use Quick Salve by using an item like the Draco Shield, or healing himself, getting danced, doing it again, or attacking, getting danced, moving and Kantoing again. So this is a little bit more limited movement compared to actual Kanto, because it's everything except after combat, but he's still an infantry unit, so his movement is still a little bit better than the general infantry movement, which I don't know for sure if it's going to be something that I'm going to give to Danvet in the end. He was the one I thought of because currently the Crimean Royal Knights are pretty much all cavalry and one flying unit, and then Khalil later on. And it just seemed fitting that he would be able to move in with the, like, trying to keep up with the rest of the Crimean Royal Knights. Like, that's been pretty much what I've been doing for most of the skill coding. I've done one more, but that's just a general... just a general kind of coding for one of the skills that we already know. And that's been Ether. Ether here has a 7-turn cooldown. And if I go around the map, gotta remind myself to turn off the animations in just a moment. It won't be that visible, but you'll see it like after a few turns, when he gets to like 3 or 2 on his cooldown meter, you'll see that the text goes from a dark red number to greenish. Like currently it's 6, and we'll turn on map animations. And here we have 5. This is pretty much per combat. So we'll dance. And I'm going to try and go around the map with Ike, just to get down his cooldown. Yeah, be my guest, Mirror Samurai. Like, I've got some messages, of course, to go through. I haven't read everything yet, just because I was focused on showing what I've been up to. But, like, please do elaborate, because I'm curious as to what you've been cooking up. Also, I have a cat next to me, and she's in her like basket, and she's snoring, and every single time I hear this very faint, and it's just very adorable. Like, I'll get back to the messages as soon as I've shown off Ether. We're currently on 4 cooldown. Sometimes it still doesn't register, which is weird. 3. Do I have a physic in the meantime? Probably don't. Oh, wait, I have the herb. I should survive this. Oh, right, they're non-aggressive. Okay, so we were on 3, and this is going to be 2, if done correctly. Yeah, 2 cooldown, so we hit 1, and then we hit another 1. And the final enemy here should give us an ether proc. And to use an herb there. Shouldn't have been in Astra's range. And now we are taking heavy losses, that's fine. And now we can see that Ether is no longer grayed out, and it's actually able to proc. And what we should see here is Ether 1 and 2. And Ether is back on cooldown. Like, I still have had some problems with sometimes it not registering, and I don't know where that's coming from, but that's why I'm going through the entire code. But for the most part, at least the entire cycle is able to proc. It's just that sometimes it doesn't register going from 5 to 4, and then I have to do another combat, which is kind of weird. So, taking a look at what you've been cooking up. I want to make a quick mock-up of how the chapters and item swaps are going to go. Some story and character stuff. Garrett is just done with a script that gives Erica and Ephraim the ultimate weapons. Looking forward to seeing that. I also did forget light was a brave weapon. Okay, small weapon variants. Looking into it. Basically every weapon type gives a different type of stat boost. Swords are speed, skill, axes are strength, defense. Lances are resistance, luck, and bows are skill, luck. Daggers are speed, resistance, anima is magic, skill, dark is defense, resistance, and light is speed, luck. Am I hearing speed luck there twice, or am I mistaken? Res luck, skill luck, speed luck. No, I am mistaken. Bows and daggers taking the Fates approach. What else was there, like, besides... Was it, wasn't... I'm probably misremembering, but it was like swords, lances, and axes are in a trinity of their own, and then they are also part of the trinity where bows are weak against daggers, daggers weak against swords, lance, axe, and axe, lance, swords weak against bows. Am I remembering that correctly? Oh, they take the Fates approach, and in the concept that Fate's bows have higher might than lances for the same accuracy. I mean, yeah, that is one of the things I really like. Making bows king of the physical 2 range is a very good approach. Like, I cannot recommend that enough, because javelins and hand axes, once 1-2 range is plentiful and easy to use and reaches any benchmarks that you're trying to get for 1 round KOing, then what do bows have to offer? And what's your magic triangle going to be like? How intense are you looking for that to be? Currently, Daybreak has it, I think, at 3 minus or plus 3 might and minus or plus 20 hit. Hey, you resident liability. Glad to have you here, and have fun with Helldivers. Stuff like Wind Edge and Javelin, they're not allowed to double. I wish I could implement that, but doesn't work that way in Daybreak. Sadly. I am curious though, like, swords are speed skill, so they're hyper fixated, which, like, they spec a lot into what you want them to spec into. However, I don't know if I'd go for speed in that case. I'd rather say luck and skill, because then you're boosting critical hit rate, and avoid, which I think most sword units would prefer, because most sword units are speedy enough on their own already to double. Whereas strength, axes with strength and defense, I can definitely see the strength just being the juggernaut high damage weapons, and just having low hits to offset that makes sense. I don't know for sure if I'd also add defense to that in too much. Like, making fighters too bulky seems like something like that the sword units then can't do back meaningful damage. And then resistance luck for lance users, that seems like it's also very good to be more of the mage countering class. Like, it doesn't have to be like, you can still have a very low resistance infantry soldier who just barely doesn't get 1-hit KO due to the res bonus, but if you have a good soldier or a good knight that is able to tank melee hits and then also get a resistance boost, that seems good. Bows I would maybe give then, if you're taking the advice, but maybe I'd swap like the skill luck from bows with the speed luck from swords, because bows generally don't need extra skill to hit stuff anyways. And then the speed might actually help for some doubling thresholds. Yeah, it is very easy to fix hit rates. To be fair, there's also a lot of ways to augment your strength, like forges, tonics, meals. There's a lot of stuff that you can do for damage output as well nowadays, whereas back in the day that was less the case. I think hit rates were easier to augment, like taking Radiant on, the Heaven support gives like 54. Like a double Heaven support gives 54 extra hits, and you can also forge an extra 15 or 25 hit with the forging system, whereas like 5 might and critical hit rate is pretty much the best you're going to get through forging. Let's see, what else do we have? Just my thoughts on the rest, like daggers, speed, resistance. Also not necessarily sure about speed for thieves or outlaws or ninjas, whatever you want to use, as they're usually quite speedy. But that, of course, is a balancing act, and I get wanting to give a couple of units speed as well. And magic skill, magic being primarily offensive, dark being defensive, and light being avoidance and critical hit rate. Seems like a good differentiation. Yeah, it's like it's of course, like I'm just giving my 2 cents, so you don't have to follow that. It all really depends on balancing. Like if you want to, you could have a couple of very high base speed Myrmidons, and then maybe they don't really get the benefits. But there's for example, a skill system thing that was made recently, which gave like the ability to double, but then if you had like overcapped speed, and it was something along the lines of if you have 4 or 5 more speed than the enemy, you can double. But if you have 8 or 10 more speed, I don't recall which it was, I think it was 4 and 8. If you have 8 more speed, then you actually gain a brave effect on your attacks, so then you're doubling on top of your doubling. So if you're, for example, going to implement something like that with the skill system, then it really makes sense to give speed to the sword users, or to the sword wielding users with the speed boosting swords, because the Myrmidons are going to be able to enjoy getting to that brave effect, whereas the mercenaries and maybe like sword knights are getting either to barely doubling or barely not getting doubled thresholds. Like there's a lot of different benchmarks that you can relate to in that way. Let's see, did I do anything else? I have to get rid of these. Like I have a different idea for what I want to do with innate skills or activated skills, because currently the grayed out text isn't working. It's working here, but it's not working in assigning skills in the base. Quick self we've seen. Yeah, making speed less binary is a good idea. Like you could also say there's probably also some kind of skill or some coding that someone did with a GBA game that any access speed that you have, let's say the enemy has 10 speed, you have 20, it takes 4 to double, then you get all the overkill speed that you have is converted to damage, so you would do an extra 6 damage for like the 6 point of speed that you have above the doubling threshold. That would not allow you to, that wouldn't give the brave effect, but it would allow to increase damage and make speed a secondary version of a strength stat for Myrmidons, which really allows them to focus on speed and can offset their low strength growth. For example, if we take Navarro or Guy, like they probably would really appreciate that. Or Lynn, like how could I forget Lynn? Even though she's not technically a sword master. I think those were pretty much all the skills that I've that I did in the meantime. Like we had Scavenge, Luna is here, but that's... I think Luna also works by now. Where's my other pupper? Yeah, and it's no wonder modern games make brave weapons only on player phase. I'm probably going to do that as well, but there's going to be a few skills or ways to get your brave weapon on enemy phase as well. So it's something that you can spec into. Yeah, as I said, if you have Myrmidon with like overkill speed, it's only going into a void, which really doesn't feel that great. Yeah, the Mercenary pretty much just has enough speed to double often enough, and it has more power to boot. Don't die on me, Nyla. I should be getting 3 combats here, so multiple turns off of my Luna. We are now on 2 turns left. So if I stand here, I should be fine, and I should get Luna on my next... not these 2 combats, but like on player phase. What's the way you're going with Mercenary? Because I assume that the Myrmidon is still going to be high speed, avoid, and high crit rate. So as you can see, Luna now is active. However, we are untransformed. And that, of course, isn't good. If you're untransformed, you can't actually activate any of the mastery skills like Savage and stuff like that. So I made a save state here. I may actually move you this way. Leans more on resistance than defense. I mean, curious to see if it works. Okay, we get a crit, but we don't get Luna, so that's good. Because Luna would always go before crits. Oh crap, can he go for someone else? I can barely not make it. Raphael, help me out. I mean, that's good. The same way that my goal for the fire mages is to be like bulky and one range is like this also works really well. Like it doesn't necessarily immediately feel normal because it hardly has ever been done in Fire Emblem before, but that doesn't mean that it can't work effectively. Are there any synonyms for fighter? Because fighter... Like warrior just seems very promoted to me. Seems like it did not like... the combat between culverts. I guess I'll have to kill the Dragon Rider and then... from there on, I guess I'll Luna someone else. Like, I'm looking at some synonyms, but assailant, boxer, champion, combatant, mercenary, militant, opponent, soldier, tanker, warlord, warrior, slugger, scrapper. Those all don't really fit either. So I guess warrior is it's a good name. I'm personally fan of warrior as a second tier class. But hey, it's not my game, so... Very important, Luna is not put on cooldown, because we haven't activated it yet. And now we should be able to see Luna here, because we are transformed. Luna and Maim, apparently. Do I actually kill... I probably double everyone. Yeah, so... What if I rescue someone and I try to Luna the boss? Do they survive? Oh, and we're almost getting ads in on Twitch, but currently not much is going on anyway, so. But I'll wait with the Luna. Actually, I can just snooze it for 5 minutes. That's a way better idea. Hopefully Nyla can carry him. Yeah, we should be fine. Okay, so we'll see if Luna actually is able to activate and not kill the enemy boss. That's 12 extra damage, 17 defense, so we are dealing an extra 9 or an extra 8. I think we should be able to survive, and this is also an extra 8. Do we kill here? We shouldn't, right? Just Luna? No, that sounds like a kill. 48. Oh wait, we ignore the entirety of defense, so it's not half of it. Then I do not have any targets that are going to survive. Never mind then. I guess I'll just kill one of these and we can see if Luna goes back on cooldown. Let's see, Mercenary and Warrior, which is tier 1. Our usual low res deal. Spearman is more balanced. And Myrmidon and Archer are mixed defense, with the former slightly more resistance and the latter slightly more defense. Mage and Light Mage, of course, lean on resistance. We once again have an issue with Luna. Torpedo Dog, please don't crash. Okay. And Luna also goes back on cooldown. So that's at least a few of them that I've been working on that do work as intended. And we've also charged Impede. So next turn we should see Impede coming through. If we live. Very close. Do we not have Impede anymore? Seems like something is going wrong with Impede, because we should activate that here. As you can see, there's still some things not entirely working. Let's see, getting back to this. Mage and Light Mage, of course, lean on resistance. Yeah, that seems like the general... That just feels normal for most people, that the monks have very low resistance and the dark mages have more power and more defensively oriented. Yeah, lots of the games have mounts as the primary. Like, flyers and mounts are always just so good. Weirdly enough, Radiant Dawn is one of the few games that manages to balance mounts and then also have pretty balanced, like not overly OP Pegasus Knights, and then just, oh yeah, we removed the arrow weakness from Draco Knights. Like, it was so close to being so balanced. Yeah, mount units get nothing. Mounted units in Daybreak will have less. They will have less skill capacity as well. I'm not going to have them have the Canto slot take up. Like, I'm not going to have Canto take up one of the slots. They just get less capacity to work with, so they can't create like the most busted combos, but they still are able to equip 6 skills. Just less capacity to distribute them. Yeah, Kanto is very busted. It's not going to be it's not going to be as strong in Daybreak. I really wish I was able to make swap a reality, but it just won't work. I'm not able to code in that. I'm already very happy with my shelter mechanic. But yeah, just making a new entire command with that would copy shove. I'd love to do it, but there's just no shot. Like, have you also decided what kind of game you want to work this in? Like, currently it's of course a concept, but do you have any idea? Do you want to use FE8 as a base, or maybe work in the 3DS games? So just give me one moment. I can probably pick up the package that they sent. They're going to deliver it at a service point. That's good. I can probably pick it up tomorrow. Still, I wasn't home. You're most likely going to do GBA. I mean, that's fair. Like, the most resources are also available for GBA, and there's some crazy cool projects going on. Like, I haven't played a lot of them. I hardly played any of them, but as someone who has taken part in FEE3 twice, or like 2 years with multiple entries, I do really think that a lot of the things that I've seen are fantastic. Just the way that they look and present themselves. Yeah, not having to hire voice actors. That is something that the industry is probably going to lean towards, and I just wish we would go to like the HD 2D pixel art style of like Octopath Traveler. I've heard mixed reports on Project Ember. It just made everyone too OP with personal preference weapons being thrown around like cotton candy. And it just didn't feel like FE6 anymore. Yeah, those are fun things. I think 1-3 range and 80 crit might be a bit much, but having like just very obscure facts and things to discover, that I do like, because it makes every playthrough unique. But I don't know, I heard a lot of people not very happy with it. I also saw the Project Wildflower for like FE7, but that one was apparently way worse, even, and it just didn't feel good to play, mostly because it had the DS RN system, or the DS hit rate calculation, which just meant that even the dodge tanks couldn't dodge. Like, the lowest hit percent you probably saw on an enemy was 70 hit rate on you, and you always had like 100 hit rate on them. I don't know, it's there's some things that I like, there's a few that I don't like, and I'm not sure about if I want to delve into things like Project Ember or what's it called? Project Wildflower. Let's see, where is my Daybreak? I'm probably going to make a video on like the skills that I showed just during this stream, the Volug one and the Makalov one. Probably Makalov first. Yeah, why Eliwood wasn't a Lance user, that also seemed very odd to me. Like, I'm fine with him having a sword, but it just feels better to have a sword, lance, and axe lord in the 3-lord campaign. Curious if I messed something up, because my loading times sometimes are very long. Did I miss anything up in the battle setup? So these should all be very small. 40, 50, no idea what these unknown values are. But just looking at the top values, this also 100. I don't know what 37 is. 37 is... assault distance. Okay, I don't really need... I don't think I messed with that. 43. Hand axe rotation, also not necessary. What would happen if I put like the assault distance at 1000? I'm just curious. I'll go through the rest in just a moment. Well, 37 changed to 1000. Like, that's the most important thing to keep in mind for now. So are there any stop slow time? Victory 72, 73. No, those seem to be normal. Okay, let's see what happens if we have the... if we change the the distance between assaults by a magnitude of 10. Yeah, I think lords and protagonists have become a modeled, something very modeled, because by now we have so many lords that aren't the lords as people usually try to classify them as. Yeah, I also wouldn't really consider the royalty from Engage as lords. Like, the lord, in the sense as the protagonist of the game, I would just say is Alir, and everyone else is at most an important side character. And then Vale at the end kind of becomes a deuteragonist. Yes, yes, yes. Rank up, rank up, rank up. Resident Liability is probably hearing that sound every single time. It's like, Sal, please. Okay, that's the last one. That's the last one. You have 2 range. That's good. So what's my distance? My distance is... Aw. I was hoping my distance would be longer. Christ, Edward. Oh, right, for those wondering, I did just show off the Gurgurant. I managed to get it back in the game. I think I can safely change that that value back to 100. There we go. Like the main protagonist is not royalty. They serve the queen, and they're not noble, but they do use rapiers. You could, if you don't want, like if you want to keep the rapier as more of a regal sword, you could always rename it to something else. Of course, we had Ike had famously the regal blade because at first he had the rapier, but the developers thought that sounds too much like a lord's weapon, so we want to give him something that effectively is a rapier but doesn't work like a rapier, and then he got like one of the worst rapiers that actually exists. And Anima Lords, always good. I do like that. We need more, like, we have so many Sword Lords in Fire Emblem, and then most of those are, like, we have so many physical lords, and then most of them are also sword locked for most of the game. We need more magic users as lords. Excuse me. That's good, that's good, your resident liability, yeah. I'm glad I'm not imposing too much on your Helldivers campaign. I hope you're having fun. Picture an animatome that summons swords of magic to rain down on enemies. That's her rapier equivalent. That sounds like, what's it called? Sagittae? Like Sagittae kind of has those arrows, and I'm picturing that, except with the Swords of Revealing Light from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game. And yeah, it had 3 range because... Let's see, what do we have here? Is it just 3 range? It is just 3 range. Wait, Sonic Blade is 0-2 range. How did I put that in incorrectly? Oh, speaking of the Regal Blade, it's right here as well. Solar Rovers, hello, sorry for bothering you. Want to offer you promotion on your channel, yada yada yada. My first one, well, I'm not all that interested. Sorry, but I am not interested in any of that. We will not call for reinforcements. Let's see, we have the Regal Blade. We do 0 damage. Actually, I shouldn't attack Ashra because she just folds like paper. There's a price I mentioned earlier. Oh, Prince. I was like... What else? The Sonic Sword had... It said it had 0 range. Why doesn't it allow me to attack myself? I really like my Levin sword. It's so cool. Look at that. Look at that beautiful sword. And the Sonic sword, I also really like the animation. He's relevant enough in the story, but not to Lord extent. And he doesn't have an exclusive class, he's just a Sky Knight. I'm not the biggest fan of Azura, but maybe that's also just the fact that she wasn't really executed well in my opinion, because she just says, I can't tell you because of reasons, and that just doesn't vibe with me. Because she could have, easily said stuff. She couldn't sing, why couldn't she speak? I might actually even be able to now give other animations to these now that I think of it. Oh, that's actually really cool. Like I could actually add the custom animations to these if I wanted. Who had Flamelance, Danved. Trade Warp Powder, trade Flamelance. You can't use the Flamelance. Come on. You can probably use the Flamelance, but can you reach an enemy? Yeah, there we go. It took me a little bit, but the Flamelance goes so hard. It's so good. She's an evoker, she does summoning, summoning birds to fight for her, and also has daggers. Summoners are really cool. Like FE8 did something I did like the mecha video where he was like, if you get the warp and this and that by picking up hidden items, you can send the Iron Axe to get an extra Iron Axe to the convoy. And that's also used for summoners, and then it dies and it takes away like every other weapon. There's I believe a mod for FE8 made by someone with the skill system thing that the summoners actually they get experience, and the experience they gain is then transferred to the person that summoned them. So that even if you summon with Null or Ewan, you can still get some experience by having the summons fight. And that seems like a really cool idea as well. I don't know if you're planning on including that, but I would be a fan. Oh, I actually did one more skill, except I literally can't show it on this map. It's really stupid. I picked the wrong map for Joffrey in this case. Where is my boy? That's Fiona. There he is. Once again, descriptions suck. I'll fix it. But Joffrey's personal is stable footing because he's so dependable and like very serious, seems very down to earth, and I don't know, it seemed fitting for him to also be the one that's leading the charge and thus being able to most easily get to the front lines. That's not necessarily because I can't find them, it's mostly because there's 70 units crammed in a small space and then I have all the cavaliers here, and at that point I'm also not looking at a full screen, I'm looking at a screen that's probably the same as what you're currently viewing. Like it takes up around, I'd say 1/12 of my computer screen. So it is rather small. However, his stable footing, cool as it may be, he has his own entire map traversal. How do I say this? There's a page for this on Serenus Forest. Like, all the terrain costs were documented, and they're documented poorly, I might add. There's so many more variants that are all very similar, but it means that there's a lot of mistakes in the ones that the terrain data page of Serenus shows. Capture. internet. I want this to be terrain data. I don't mind that it's currently a bit big. There we go. So the terrain data, this is a list where you have like foot units, armored units, magic units, knights, flying units, thieves, beasts untransformed and transformed, and then dragon untransformed and transformed. And the armors are armor sword, sword general, and all the other versions, the martial and the black knights. But the black knight actually has its own class with slight differences. Flying units are this and that. And Joffrey got his own very unique version of these. He got one exclusive to him. He has no terrain penalties, pretty much for anything. He still can't climb ledges though, you need the actual climber skill to do that, which was that on Astrid? It may be on Astrid later. Alright, and this was Kieran's first skill, and when he talks to Oscar it transforms into this, where he gains like a little bit of crit or something like that, and he also keeps the reckless part. Just so you don't get two personal skills that clog up space. But Joffrey has no terrain penalties from swamps, he can just go through rivers as he pleases, he can run forward, like his movement is never going to be impeded except by terrain that he cannot traverse like this. Now that's all nice and dandy, but this entire map is plain, cliff, and tree. Yeah, Joffrey has acrobat pretty much. And then there's going to be other skills like climber or vault as it's going to be called, which allows horse units to actually climb up ledges as well. And that is probably going to be a free skill in the end when Astrid promotes to tier 3, as she is going to be like a ranger, starting as a scout and then becoming a ranger. But it's also a skill that you can swap around with like a version that costs capacity. However, this entire map has literally 3 terrain tiles: plain, tree, and cliff. And Joffrey cannot walk over cliff, he cannot walk over trees. He only has terrain tiles here, so there's no heal hedges, no thickets, no swamp. There's nothing that allows him to showcase how he would be able to move really well. So this map isn't really well suited for him specifically, but that's okay. I guess I might be able to do this actually. Where is Peleus? I don't recall if I fixed this or if it still does this. Actually, I might just be able to go there. But I was looking in a previous stream at being able to change the terrain data, and I changed the terrain data to swamp for with one of the dark tomes. Except I can't remember which one it was. Was it Eclipse? Was it Eclipse or was it Flux or was it... It wasn't Miasma. Okay, it's not Eclipse. It's probably not Thartarith. With its really cool demon card animation. Nope. So then, it's not Miasma. Or was it Shine? Fuck, was it still the Shine Tome? Where is it? Shine Tome. So currently it doesn't do anything. Okay. But it can set terrain data to river. I can actually showcase Joffrey. I didn't think of that, but Micaiah is here to save the day. Garrett, I think you could look into it. Like, it's probably in the either the Discord of Fire Emblem Universe or in the skill system page. Yeah, it's weird. I am in general just not a fan of the execution of most of Fate's story, but Azura, even though she looks really cool, her design is cool, not a big fan. So we are nearing another set of rank ups. Yeah, the Rev rewrite. There is a lot to be done with rewriting Fates. Rank up, rank up, rank up. Yeah, we know. Vicious Sal and having time-wasting events at the start of a map. Name a more iconic duo. Okay, Micaiah, I know where she is roughly. She is roughly around here. And we can use the air in my mouth to distract me from, once again, not placing Colbert. Ah, damn it, I keep forgetting so many things. Is he going to damage and kill this time? Because last time he missed 2 77s. There we go. Actually, I believe I read this, and as far as I know, the 2 summoners have different base stats and different growths already. The one for Ewan and Noel. There we go. Like, what you gonna do? You're going to have hairs in your mouth every now and then if you have 4 cats. Joffrey, get over here. This time I know where you are. Oh, that way. Yeah. As I said, probably best to look it up from in one way, shape form on Fire Emblem Universe. I was going to attack these, but then I realized I can't really look and see if the swamp is going to interact with anything, because I need a specific one-tile travel point, like a straight line. And I guess that works here. Let's see, your movement is that, so if I remove these 2, that should be fine. Yeah, you would have to make it from scratch, but at least you'd be able to see like what the idea behind it was. Da 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 da. Options, map only. Probably going to have Maklov interrupt me in just a moment as well. Okay, this one should place a swamp tile. A river tile, also fine. And let's see if this one does the same. Shine 1, shine 2, and then next turn I still need to find a way to give the map something to play the entire time, like just continuously. Yeah, what's up, Makalov? Because then I can actually make like flames on the map and stuff like that a reality and have more terrain, be terrain more interactive with just the effect of tomes. So it's only the river. And we can see here indeed that Kieran, when trying to go to this tile, he travels around it because he cannot go through. The utility of a random tome actually being able to set my terrain data. However, for Joffrey, he is able to just casually walk through. Like, it looks really weird, but this actually does make it does show that Kieran cannot travel onto that tile. Meanwhile, Joffrey just goes through it, no problem. My singular river tile on the entire map. I guess I could also just have coded somewhere that certain tiles became river, but I guess this works for now. I made a save state so I can make this into a video as well, because the stable footing is really easy to showcase. Especially from this situation. I can just show that this is a river tile. And Joffrey doesn't care. Joffrey is also not very good, I have to say. Like, he actually has only slightly better like, just comparable stats. The only thing he has over them is strength. If it's set XP per battle, that's easy. If it's based off of the experience formula, that's a lot more complicated. I mean, you could do both. You could, maybe it's also, you could do a slight variation between the two, where it's like a set value plus the summoner's level, so that if you get to higher levels, let's say you give like 11 experience for a summoner combat or a phantom combat that grants 11 XP, and then, or it's 10, and then at level 1 you get 1 extra, level 2 you get 2 extra, so 12 in total, level 3 all the way until like level 15, where you get 25 experience for 1 summoner combat, because you start summoning better and better summons, and you get progressively better at handling them and more experienced. That's also a possibility instead of just having static experience the entire time. I presume that shouldn't be too much hassle to add on to like the basic coding. I don't know if this is... I don't think this is in FE8. I think you get better weapons at some point for summons, but the stats, I believe, don't really... Like, they just follow the growth rates. But you could also... like, you can upscale the damage output with summons, but that would also allow you to then get better experience when you're a higher level. Which is a positive feedback loop. You get more experience, so you get to a higher level more quickly, which allows you to get more experience, even if it's only a little bit. Yeah, if they go to tier 3, then of course, I don't know if the possibility is there in Lex Talionis, but the way that... Where's my skill list? It's right here. Okay, this is going to take me a moment. Close that, close that. And now we should just have the skills available, yeah. So the way that Radiant Dawn handles that is through the following few skills. Or 2 skills, I should say. Skill 3 and Skill 4. The top ones here. Skill ID higher and Skill ID highest. When you're tier 0, or tier 1, I should say, you get neither of these, and when you promote into tier 2, you get skill ID higher, and then when you're tier 3, you get skill ID highest. This is actually how I also managed to code in something for Profiteer. Because it's not that difficult. We check if the unit is Makalov, and we test if he has the skill Profiteer. He always has this because it's a personal, so he shouldn't not have it. Then we test if his skill is skill ID higher. And then if his unit's level, that is V0 and then value 6, or stat 6 I should say, if that is 10 or higher, we check if he doesn't have steel, and then we get steel. Very easy. But what happens, because this happens on turn 1, or between turn 1 and turn... I could probably make this... I could probably put this in a separate place and not have it tied to turn 1 till 10. But, for example, what if we bonus experience him because Oscar, Titania, Kieran and Joffrey all died and we still want to use a Paladin, and we don't want to use running? Then how do we do this? We bonus experience him all the way to tier 3, so there's the extra piece of the puzzle. If unit test skill V0 is skill ID highest, you just get steel if you don't have it already. It's just a couple of flags that work internally. And here you can see this is also how he doesn't get a white gem when he's level 20 unpromoted. Because if unit's level is 20, that can be either level 20 Paladin or level 20 Gold Knight. But then if unit test skill highest, so tier 3, disable skip, focus on unit, remove Profiteer because it's not going to work anymore, and add get item showing a white gem. So that way you can actually like look at what kind of XP you should be getting. And you could say, for example, if skill ID is higher, tier 2, get experience is 10 plus level. And then you would have your 10 experience plus level 1 is 1 extra experience, but level 19 is 19 extra experience. And if skill ID is highest, you could say 30 plus your level, because then you also take into account the 20 levels you have gone through in tier 2, and it should continue as normal. That's cool, like having a promotion that's also not just tied to the unit themselves, but also to what they do. That kind of feels like Mega Kangaskhan. Might be a weird allegory, but instead of Kangaskhan Mega evolving, it's the child, and here it's the summoner. When they promote, like, they probably gain something as well, but their summons also becoming more powerful is like a very niche and cool thing to add, because it really adds some variety. Like, you could focus more on your summons with a promotion or on the character themselves, like what do you want them to do. Yeah, that's really cool. Like, that adds more flavor and unit identity, and I think that's a really cool thing to add. Just not just like the fact that you add more unit identity, but the way you do it that way just seems really cool. Seems like the both of you also have quite a bit of like brainstorming to do, and looking forward to that coming to fruition. Just give them some Shadows of Valentia summon. I'm sure that'll be balanced. Why don't you give them witch movement as well? Seems fair. In any case, I'm looking forward to what you're able to make of that. It is getting close to 5 o'clock, which means I will have to start working on my cooking. So I'm going to... let's take a look. How far are we away? Yeah, there's an ad coming up, so I am probably going to end the stream here, and I am looking forward to what kind of new ideas you'll have worked out or coded by next stream. Hopefully I'll have some new stuff as well, and yeah, just was fun hanging around. Looking forward to more of the stuff that that both of you have as ideas. Like, it's really cool to see what other people come up with. Also means that I can steal more. Anyway, I've been me, you've been you, and looking forward to next week. It's actually only 4 days now, because I still plan on streaming next Tuesday. Anyway, thanks a lot, and I will see you next week.